Hi friends, welcome to my channel. Before going to the video, those who are not subscribed our channel, subscribe it and also click the bell button. In this video, we are going to see about charge coupled device. Charge coupled device, that is CCD, is a metal oxide semiconductor chip sensor that transports electrically charged signals. They can be used either as an image sensor or as a shift register. It generally has an array of cells called pixels to capture the light image via photoelectric effect. The packets of charge are initially moved from cell to cell by coupling and decoupling of potential wells within the semiconductor. At the end of the line, the charges from all the pixels can be converted to electrical signals. It is a highly sensitive photon detector used for recording images in digital cameras. In CCD, usually silicon is used as the base material. Silicon dioxide is used as the coating. Here the top layer is also made of silicon, that is polysilicon. Next is the characteristics of CCD. CCD has low dark current, low noise. They are capable of holding a large signal in a single pixel and they have very large dynamic range. Their quantum efficiency compared to CMOS, which is from 25 to 95%, and the detection speed of CCD is low compared to CMOS. Charge coupled devices can be constructed with any of the three following techniques. First one, single metallization using PMOS or NMOS processor for three-phase CCDs, polysilicon aluminum structures for two-phase and multi-phase CCDs, single metallization with ion implanted barriers for two-phase or uniphase CCDs. Next is the structure of CCD. There are two structures of CCD. First is the buried channel CCD and second is surface channel CCD. First we will see about buried channel CCD. This is the most commonly used CCD structure and it employs a PN junction to bury the depletion region well below the surface. The bottom layer is a semiconductor substrate made of P-type silicon layer and an N-type silicon layer. Above this substrate, a thin layer of silicon dioxide is grown, which is an insulator. On top of this silicon dioxide layer, a metal electrode or gate made of polysilicon is placed. This entire structure is known as metal oxide semiconductor capacitor because it composes of layers of metal, oxide and semiconductor. This is the cross section of buried channel CCD pixel. It consists of substrate made of P-type silicon and N-type silicon. The depletion region consists of photo-generated electron-hole pairs. Above this, a thin layer of silicon dioxide, which is the insulator, is grown. Above the oxide layer, a metal electrode or gate made of polysilicon is placed. This entire structure is known as MOS capacitor, that is metal oxide semiconductor capacitor. By grounding the P-type silicon substrate and applying a positive voltage to the N-type layer, the PN junction is reverse biased. This increases the depletion region width and it creates a potential well in the N-type silicon that confines the electrons in the vertical direction. Incident light generates electron-hole pairs in the depletion region and the electrons migrate upwards into the N-type silicon layer where they are trapped in the vertical direction by the potential well. Here, the electrons are therefore able to build up with the amount of negative charge directly proportional to the level of incident level. The depth of the electron collection layer or the buried channel in the silicon can be controlled by altering the positive voltage on the electrode at the surface. Almost all scientific CCDs are buried channel type. Next is surface channel CCD. This is the simplest CCD structure, but it has poor charge handling performance because the electrons are stored and transferred close to the surface of the crystal, where many irregularities and defects are present and they cause charge traps. So surface channel CCDs are very rarely used, so we are not going to discuss about this much. Next is CCD architecture. The commonly used CCD architectures are full frame CCD, frame transfer CCD, interline transfer CCD. First is the full frame CCD. This is the simplest form of CCD architecture in which incoming photons sensitive sensor array. To read out the sensor, the accumulated charge are shifted vertically row by row into the serial output register. The readout register is shifted horizontally to read out each individual pixel. This is known as progressive scan readout. This is the architecture of full frame CCD. When magnified, the surface of a CCD looks like a large dot-filled grid. Each of these dots is a light receptor called photodiode. One dot equals one pixel, which is the smallest unit of an image. These pixels capture the light image via photoelectric effect. The packets of charge are initially moved from cell to cell vertically by coupling and decoupling of potential wells within the semiconductor. At the end of the line, the charges are horizontally shifted and converted to electrical signals. The disadvantage of full frame CCD is charge smearing. That is, it occurs when pixels become saturated and there is no space to accumulate charge and light spilling over into the vertical shift register while charge is transferring to the serial output register. To avoid this charge smearing, a mechanical shutter is used to cover the sensor during the readout process. But these mechanical shutters have lifetime issues and they are relatively slow. So, shutters are not needed in spectrographic operations or when a pulsed light source is used. Full frame CCDs are the most sensitive CCDs available and they can work efficiently in many different illumination situations. Next is frame transfer CCD. In this architecture, the CCD is divided into two equally sized sections. One of these sections is the normal light sensitive imaging array and the other section is a storage array that is shielded from incident light. The incoming photons are allowed to fall on the light sensitive imaging array and the accumulated charge is rapidly shifted into the shielded storage array for transferring to the serial output register. Frame transfer CCDs have faster frame rate than full frame CCDs and they have the advantage of high fill factor. That is, they are able to capture nearly 100% of the light that falls on each pixel. The disadvantage of this architecture is the charge smearing during the transfer of charge from light sensitive array to the shielded storage array, although they are significantly better than full frame CCD. The frames transfer CCD has the sensitivity of full frame CCD but are more expensive due to the larger sensor size needed to accommodate the frame storage region. This is the architecture of frame transfer CCD. Here if you see, the total architecture is divided into two equal sized sections. First section is the normal light sensitive imaging array and the second section is the storage array. The incident light falls on the light sensitive imaging array and the charge is rapidly shifted into the storage array. From the storage array, it is shifted to serial output register and it is converted to electrical signal. Next is interline transfer CCD. This architecture has charge transfer channels called interline masks which are non-light sensitive. These channels are immediately adjacent to each photodiode so that the accumulated charge can be rapidly shifted into the channels after image acquisition has been done. The very rapid image acquisition virtually eliminates image spare. But in this architecture, the disadvantage is that this interline mask reduces the effective light sensitive area of the sensor. This can partially be eliminated by the use of micro lens to increase photodiode fill factor. This interline CCD is the most common imaging architecture used in industrial video cameras. This is the architecture of interline transfer CCD. Here, the non-light sensitive charge transfer channels called interline masks are present in between the photodiodes. When light incident on the photodiode, the accumulated charge is rapidly transmitted into the channels and then to serial output register. The charges are then shifted horizontally and they are converted to electrical signals. Next is charge transfer in CCD. There are three separate mechanisms or driving forces which cause charge to move from one potential well to an adjacent one of lower energy. These driving forces are thermal diffusion, self-induced drift, fringing field drift. First, thermal diffusion. Thermal diffusion is due to the random thermal motion of the carriers which causes charge to move from region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. This diffusion can be modeled as an effective electric field acting on the carriers which is given by ETH is equal to KT by Q rho S into dou rho S by dou Y. Here rho S is the surface charge density along the transfer direction Y. K is the Boltzmann constant, T is the temperature in Kelvin, Q is the charge. Next is self-induced drift. This is basically a drift mechanism where the electric field is produced by the charge carriers itself and it is due to the repulsion of the like charge carriers which make up the signal. First, the charge carriers are transferred by self-induced drift and the charge is redistributed within the well by electrostatic repulsion. Here, the electric field acting on the carriers due to drift is given by ED is equal to Q by C ox into dou rho S by dou Y. Here, Q is the charge, C ox is the oxide capacitance, rho S is the charge density along the travel direction Y. The electric field due to electrostatic repulsion is given by ER is equal to minus 2QT ox divided by epsilon ox plus epsilon S into dou rho S by dou Y, which is approximately equal to minus Q by 2C ox into dou rho S by dou Y. Here Q is the charge, T ox is the thickness of the oxide layer, epsilon ox is the permittivity of the oxide layer and epsilon S is the permittivity of silicon layer. This self-induced drift mechanism is the dominant transfer mechanism for transferring large charge packets. Next is fringing field drift. In this mechanism, the electric field arises from externally applied clocked voltages. Fringing field drift can speed up the charge transfer process, and it can also result in high efficiency, approximately 99.99% at 10 MHz bit rates. The minimum value of the fringing field occurs at the center of the transferring electrode, and it is given by EFR min is approximately equal to 2 pi by 3 into epsilon s into del V divided by L square C ox into phi xt into L divided by 1 plus phi xt L to the power 4, where del V is the excess gate voltage, xt is the depletion depth at the center of the transferring electrode, and L is the gate length. Next is the applications of CCDs. These CCDs are used in digital cameras, optical scanners, and video cameras as light sensing devices. They are used in astrophotography. They are typically sensitive to infrared light, which allows infrared photography, night vision devices. They are also used to take exposures of galaxies and nebulae. Next, we will see the previous year's questions. First question was asked in November 2020. Which semiconductor materials are used to make charge coupled devices, CCD? First, silicon, mercury, cadmium, technetium. Third one, tantalum. Fourth one, indium antimonide. Choose the correct answer from the options given below. Option A 1 only, option B 1 and 3, option C 3 and 4, option D 1, 3 and 4. Here the answer is silicon, because charged coupled devices are made only of silicon. So option A is correct. Second question, CCDs have the following characteristics. This question was also asked in November 2020. So option A, low dark current, high noise. Option B, high voltage operation, low noise. Option C, poor dynamic range, low dark current. Option D, good linearity, low dark current. Here, if you see, CCDs are capable of holding a large signal in any single pixel, and they also have low read noise and dark current, and they have large dynamic range. They can operate at high voltage. So, high voltage operation, low noise. Option B is correct. Third question. This question was also asked in November 2020. Given below are two statements. Statement 1. The advantage of frame transfer readout architecture compared to the interline architecture is a more efficient light sensing area. Statement 2. For both interline transfer and frame transfer, all columns advance their charge signals to the horizontal output register simultaneously. In the above statements, choose the most appropriate answer from the options given below. Option A, both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct. Option B, both statement 1 and statement 2 are incorrect. Option C, statement 1 is correct but statement 2 is incorrect. Option D, statement 1 is incorrect but statement 2 is correct. Here, if you see, we know that the advantage of frame transfer readout architecture is it has large efficient light sensing area, because in interline transfer the interline mask covers some of the area, and also in both the architecture all columns advance their charge signals to horizontal output register. So option A is correct. Next question. Statement 1. A line imager with dual output register has poor readout speed. Statement 2. In the frame transfer scheme, signals to a storage area away from the sensing area. In the above statements, choose the answer from the options given below. Option A, both statement 1 and statement 2 are true. Option B, both statement 1 and statement 2 are false. Option C, statement 1 is correct but statement 2 is false. Option D, statement 1 is incorrect but statement 2 is true. Here if you see, statement 1 is wrong because a line imager with dual output register has good readout speed, and statement 2, if in the frame transfer scheme the signals are shifted to a storage area away from the sensing area. We know that in the frame transfer scheme the whole section is divided into two areas. One is the light sensitive imaging array and the second one is the storage array. So statement 2 is true. Option D is correct. The next question, statement 1. Three basic charge transfer mechanisms in CCD are thermal diffusion, self-induced drift and fringing field effect. Statement 2. For small amount of signal charge, self-induced drift is the dominant factor, and for a reasonably large charge packet, thermal diffusion is the dominant transfer mechanism. In the above two statements, choose the appropriate answer from the options given below. Option A, both statement 1 and 2 are correct. Option B, both statement 1 and statement 2 are incorrect. Option C, statement 1 is correct but statement 2 is incorrect. Option D, statement 1 is incorrect but statement 2 is correct. Here we know that the three basic charge transfer mechanisms in CCD are thermal diffusion, self-induced drift and fringing field effect. So statement 1 is correct, but if you see the statement 2, it is wrong because for small amount of charge signal, thermal diffusion is the dominant transfer mechanism and self-induced drift is the dominant mechanism for large charge packet. So statement 2 is wrong. So option C is correct. Thanks for watching the video. For more videos, don't forget to subscribe our channel.